Hi, my name is Amanda, and today I'm going to be analyzing one of the last scenes from Playtest, an episode from Black Mirror. The main theme I would like to discuss throughout this clip is that the use of technology meant to make human life easier begins to strip that very human away from those that made it. Thus, technology is destroying its creator. This episode starts with our main character, Cooper, who has agreed to participate in an experimental virtual reality horror game, in which he is trapped in an old mansion as his conscience creates virtual terror. He has decided that he wants to exit the game, which is being monitored by a woman named Katie, who he is able to communicate with through an earpiece. First, we have a medium shot of Cooper. The audience is supposed to feel in the presence of his world. The camera does not move unless Cooper does, signifying that he is in charge of the situation as of right now.
Access point? Great, where the fuck's the access point?
As Cooper walks through the house to the access point, we see very open shots, making Cooper look small and vulnerable. I love the high-angle, looming shot from the top of the stairs that begins to reinforce the theme that Cooper is starting to lose control over the situation. As Cooper approaches the long hallway, his body only takes up a very small portion of the screen, which makes the viewer feel as if the video game mansion is too big of a problem for Cooper to be able to handle. That, mixed with the fact that he stops in his tracks, begins to build tension. This slow-moving forward tracking shot makes this mysterious door appear as if it is growing. It seems that this door is not only something that Cooper and the audience feels impending doom about, but it is starting to grow around him. Once again, this foreshadows his consumption and eventual deterioration. As Cooper has a conversation with Katie in which the camera changes from high to low angle shots, Katie is seen as the superior. She, or rather the video game, is in charge, and Cooper is the weak link in the relationship. The video game is quite literally looking down on him.
Okay. Okay.
Whatever's in there cannot harm you. But I can't get you out unless you open that door, Cooper.
As Cooper opens the door, we have an extreme close-up of the handle and what appears to be a point-of-view shot of him walking in, but abruptly changes before we can see what the room looks like. The fact that we don't see the room Cooper walks into from his point of view, like we would expect to, entails that someone else is watching him. This is interesting because in horror video games, everything is typically seen from the player's point of view, which often makes it scarier. The fact that we are able to see Cooper is meant to emphasize that we are watching him. Obviously, the audience is watching a TV show, but in a more psychological sense of things, we are watching a character in a video game get to his potential doom. As one blogger puts it, we lose compassion for Cooper because he seems more like a video game character than an actual human. We, the audience, are not Cooper. Instead, we sit in some sick kind of position that is entertained and enthralled by Cooper's pain, just like we would if we were playing a video game. So, do we as a society value entertainment over real feelings? After a very long tracking shot, Cooper ends in a position in which the camera is now at a low angle of him. Notice that as Katie begins to ask him questions and he is unable to remember the answers, the camera zooms onto his face slowly. This tells us that these fears Katie is feeding him are beginning to be instilled in his brain. It's important to note that his biggest fear in life is having Alzheimer's, which is what caused the death of his father. But in order for him to believe he has that disease, someone needs to convince him enough of it. It has been drilled literally and verbally into his brain so that he believes it, which is the opposite of the effects that Alzheimer's has on the brain. Ironically, as the technology keeps taking over, Cooper is actually losing his memories and his knowledge of himself.
Do you even know who you're looking at?
The camera tracks Cooper's movement to the mirror and ends on a medium close-up in which we can only see part of Cooper's actual body, but most of his reflection. The more that Katie talks, the closer the camera gets to his reflection, pushing his own body out of frame. When Cooper pulls out his earpiece, revealing that Katie's voice can be heard anyway, we rack focus from Cooper's real face to the reflection of his face, all while the camera continues to get closer to him. This supports the concept of who Cooper really is. Does he still believe that he is a person, or is he simply a character in a game? After punching the mirror and shattering his self-image, the following high-angle shot of Cooper looming over the glass is unnerving because suddenly, Cooper is in charge again. He chooses to disobey the rules and cut the game piece out of his head so that he is in control, which signifies the break of his hallucination from the game. This is fully supported as Katie rushes in to try to stop him, and camera movements settle back to how they were at the beginning of the clip, which tells us we're back in reality.